Hello everybody, how's everyone today? Ame Gakita. Alright, we are going to talk about the Street Baby in situation, but more so on the game journalist along the line. I know a lot of people will be saying like, should I be talking about Street Baby in or should I be talking about the game journalist in this topic? I am gonna give quite a few take about the Street Baby in situation, but more so on the game journalist. It's kind of interesting that a lot of people go along the line of that, hey, Sweet Baby in is a bad thing because of them trying to add in so apparently their propaganda or ideology or diversity along the line. And I know some people will be saying like, hey, some maybe just maybe so that diversity or all these things have been in the making and is occurring naturally in a way. Well, it's not occurring naturally in this age of time. It's just more so that because of social media where people talk about a lot of stuff, where people share some of the grievances or some of the situation where some of the company trying to silence some people along the line, which Sweet Baby Inc. is trying to do so in this moment. It's really kind of interesting in a way is that when a big combo in a way, I mean, like, I know some people will say that hey, Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't seem very big, but when they kind of partner with quite a lot of company, yeah, I would say that is quite a big company in a way. It's more so when they come up with their so-called lists of indicating of company like Square Enix, Rocksteady, Ubisoft along the line of where they so-called apparently again threaten them with the cancel culture or work culture or LGBT culture or whatsoever culture to force them to listen to them when it comes to story game writing. It's really in my opinion doesn't look good in the whole run when you kind of like considering that hey maybe you also don't add too much stuff in a way. I mean, like, I know some people will be along the line like, hey, do you want to add this or do you want to add that or do you don't like this or do you don't like that? It depends, alright. If the story seems to run in a smooth way, or if the story does go in a way where that part of the story or maybe that part of the race or that part of the diversity or maybe that part of the stuff makes sense, or maybe the relationship situation also makes sense, then maybe we can understand why. But often more than not, there are cases where people trying to add in. Again, I know some people will be saying like, hey, maybe they are not adding that their ideology or propaganda along the line, but when you're looking at the writer who is having creating a lot of issue on the Twitter side, where they are talking about all these things, where they add racist without even trying to, or they are trying to indicate that if you are against us, you are racist along the line, or maybe in the case that I don't know if they want to add in like their own idea of saying like, hey, the character should be in this gender or it should be in that race or it should be in that political view along the line, then yeah, something is wrong in the first place. So all in all, I know some people be they're trying to defend Sweet Baby Inc. or maybe some of the game journalists trying to indicate that there is no force whatsoever along the line. But I mentioned it quite a few times already, is that sometimes I think humble go a long way. But when you brag about it, you talk about it and you make it as if that is your doing, and people already having like initially having issue with that part of the story and you're the one who do it, obviously people will come after you. You have to receive the criticism, because the thing is, right, as a writer, often more than not there will be critic against you. You have to take it in. Is it because you did a bad writing for that story part, or maybe you did a bad setting for it? And if people don't like it, how are you going to improve on it? So the reason why I given the advice twice in my previous video is that if the writer really want to improve, they should really, number one, shut up, number two, apologize for the thing about they did, and number three, understand sometimes we are going to accept the critic and you're going to improve on it. Because if you can't do self-improvement, you trying to put on the same thing again in the next game, where you're trying to add in stuff that is not supposed to be there in the first place, then yes, it can be considered a forced thing, because you are adding your own idea, propaganda, whatsoever, etc. If some people still don't understand, yeah, you are considering adding stuff that is not supposed in the story. Because often more than not, I give, like I've been saying along the line that, hey, what happens if you eat 10 burger per day, but I don't eat the same 10 burger per day? People will be saying like, why would you do that? Because I say that you are supposed to do it. You listen to me, but I don't need to listen to my own words. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense, right? So yeah, it's back to the point of that. Why would I want people to eat 10 burger per day when the other party doesn't want to do so? Maybe some people want to eat 10 burger per day. Let them be. But if they choose not to, then it seems wrong. The best way to approach this kind of situation, in my opinion, is that I can recommend you to try 10 different burger and in a day. And if you wish to do so, it's up to your own opinion, your own choice, your own decision along the line. And if you do so, you like it, you can do it on a daily basis, maybe also. But it's only my recommendation. You don't really, and in a way, it doesn't sound forced, because you are introducing in a way. But what Sweet Baby In been trying to do along the line is that they are kind of trying to brag about it and stating that they are forcing it down the throat. And along the line, a lot of gamers doesn't like to be forced in a way. So all in all, the Sweet Baby In did a bad day on that situation. The impression they're giving me is that they are trying to force in their so-called stuff into other people's mindset, which I know some people will be saying that, hey, they are just making noise because they don't like it. When you think about yourself, if other people force the same thing onto you, let's say for example, if you are a person who don't like female, and people force female onto you, obviously you'll be saying like, hey, you're just forcing me. But when you're forcing people to like male and people don't like it, aren't you doing the same thing again? It's kind of like vice versa, or go two ways along the line, and it does not sit well with too many people. One of the reasons why I always say I look at both sides of the coin. If people like it, good. If people don't like it, deal with it yourself, because that's how life always have been. And it's interesting to see how game journalists, or maybe like some of the people trying to say that, hey, you can't be racist against white people along the line. Wow, you are a senior editor at Kokaku, along the line, and people trying to defend themselves along the line, and how to infiltrate a Discord and telling everyone that, hey, I'm a spy along the line. Like, I never seen game journalists being so down damn bad nowadays. I mean, like, I already covered about Sweet Baby In going like bragging about the way they are along the line of being a racist, or they got a little bit of propaganda against around, or maybe around them along the line, or they love to add in their ideology along the line. Like, it's all over the internet. Whatever stay in the internet, stay in the internet. So you can go to Afghan and check what they trying to erase or trying to block people from reading along the line. But again, I mentioned, what stay in internet, stay internet. And whether you like it or not, people will search it out. I mean, like, if Muta Hassan found it and he talked about it and he said that Sweet Baby In is awful, there's nothing for me to prove anymore. But then again, I mean, like, hey, sometimes when you look at the whole situation, maybe the Sweet Baby In is not as good as we talk about. Again, back to the point that it's what made the later part again about when I talk about game journalists. I know some people were saying, hey, you've been talking quite a lot of stuff for quite a while. Yeah, the game journalists, right, apparently some of them got some sort of tie, or they are trying to add in their own stuff, and that is when situation kind of like go haywire. Often more than not, they call themselves game journalists, where they add in stuff and saying like, hey, I know some people may not like me using Red Sun videos. I would say this way so you guys can understand why. I do not 100% agree with most of Red Sun point. Let me get this straight. But if he do have a few point that is pretty strong, or able to use as a very argument point, or in the point of situation where he got evidence to prove his point, then yes, I will use it. Whether you guys like it or not, if he take the time to source those situations out, it just proves to show that maybe we can use his point as a source. But does that mean that we can use all his point or opinion as the main source? It depends on the individual, because from how I look at the source, sometimes right, some of the situation or some of the evidence can prove otherwise. It's the same thing like the coin, right? When you put a coin in front of like 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people along the line, how will people look at that coin? Some people will look at it's just a small penny, or maybe some people from afar can't see how much it costs, or what is, maybe they will say it's just a penny, or some people will say it's $1. Some people may say that it's from US, some people may say it's from Singapore, maybe some people will say it's from Japan because they couldn't see it properly. So all in all, when you put one coin in front of 10,000 millions people, everyone will look at the coin differently. So if Rev Sun put up a video where he have that coin out already, I will use that coin. But how he look at it versus how I look at it, there may be some agreement, there may be some disagreement, whether you like it or not. Understand this. He got his own take, I got my own takes. So all in all, let me at least put that out of the window, and now I give my own takes. Alright. When it comes to game journalists, right, often more than not, nowadays people tend to misunderstand a true game journalist in many ways. I wouldn't really, I know like people are saying like, what do I love to a lot in my all my take? It's more towards that sometimes I need to be very careful about what I say, which is the reason why I a lot. But then again, is if I know what I'm thinking about, and I got my script to kind of like give a proper take, yeah, you guys won't hear that a lot. But then again, the situation is that often more than not, when it comes to game journalists have, let's just say, diverse from the original game journalists along the line. In the past, like Kotaku or IGN, the game journalists, when you look at game journalists where they talk about the game, they add in their own review, they add in their own opinion, they add in like stuff that maybe we should look out for, maybe along the line that, hey, Nintendo talk about a new game, or maybe Nintendo is suing a game company, or maybe that Sony is introducing a new console along the line. Like, game journalists on it's supposed to be along the line that where they talk about game and stuff, they should be all related to game along the line. But they are called a journalist in a way, so people tend to misunderstand that, hey, maybe they are also a journalist in a way, but they are more so for the games. Here's the funny part. When you do proper research, or when you give your take as a journalist, which I am not, understand that I don't call myself a journalist, because it's that often more than not, I look at both sides of the coin. Yes, it should be how a journalist should be. I give both sides of the coin, yes, which a journalist should be. And at the same time, I will tend to do a proper research along the line, which a journalist should do, a game journalist should do. Then I got no idea. Should I be called a game journalist, or should I call a journalist along the line? No, I do not think so. Because why? I tend to add in my own taste, my own opinion, my own advice along the line. And to me, I do not feel myself to be a journalist. I am more of a commentator who give my own taste, my own opinion, and if people accept it or people who doesn't accept it, I mean, like, we can open up a discussion right in the comment below and talk along the line, and that's how debate or how argument or how situation can come about, because often more than not we can talk about it. Sometimes we can come up with disagreement, sometimes we can have a little bit of argument. To me, I wouldn't say that, hey, if you're arguing with me, you are against me along the line. If I don't see your point, or if people don't see my point, then if they write it down, and we can talk a little bit more further, at least I can see and understand more, because the more we talk, the more we can get to understand what is wrong, or maybe we can fill in the missing part. But game journalists is often more than not should be writing a story of the situation where it should not include their opinion, their takes, and it should be according along the line of reporting to let the general public know. So game journalists have been doing something way beyond that, where they add in their propaganda or their ideology or their political view, etc. along the line, and often more than not, it rub quite a lot of people the wrong way. If you go and search like some of the Twitter situation where some of the gamers don't, why some people say that, hey, maybe IGN is not as good as it used to be, or Kotaku not as good as what it used to be. In the past, I used those for game source, for game news or whatsoever. But when they start adding this kind of situation where, hey, we do our own research, we do a very poor job at spying at some of the situation. Yeah, when I do a deep research, right, I use a few different accounts. I have 3 accounts. One, my real life account, one Ame Gakita, which you guys are looking at me right now, and one which is basically a hidden account that I do not let anyone know, and I use that to do those kind of infiltration or do this kind of research along the line that people do not want people to know. So often more than not, you have to look at few different accounts to see all sides of the coin. And one of the things I would say that I will not introduce a valid point, even if they trying to indicate their point is valid. In the eyes of the law, there are cases where sometimes some point cannot be used in court. Why? Even if they are valid to the defendant, why would they not be used as a valid point? Is that often more than not, it can be due to reason like it seem biased, or because it can affect the whole situation in like creating a diversity, a distraction along the line. And if it's go that route, it cannot be used as a valid point. There are often more than not that when I look at Sweet Baby in the employee trying to put up their own valid point, or they trying to point out the things that they are trying to indicate that, hey, we are the people who is trying to help add in stuff. But then again, back to the point when I say that when you look at what the CEO or Sweet Baby in talk along the line, how the employee talk about along the line, where they are the ones saying that they are adding diversity, they are the one who add in the racism issue, they are the one who adding LGBTQ situation to the game, when the game should not include those in the first place. Then that is when we have to ask ourselves, like, why would they do so? I mean, like, if some people want some of the character to be like a transgender along the line, or they want the character to be a different race along the line, if the original source does prove that yes, maybe we can do so, then we can do so. But again, back to the point, like I mentioned, if a game is all about Japanese, then it should be all about Japanese. You should not out of nowhere a Western step in and say that, hey, you should add in Asian, it's all Asian game, all Asian person, you should be adding a little bit of European people or black people or whatever people along the line, because diversity along the line. Then yeah, that is just basically forcing game company to listen to you. So it doesn't look good in overall when you are forcing people to listen to you, and in a way it's just basically forcing a turkey down people's throat. And it's really not looking good for Sweet Baby Inc. It doesn't look good for a game journalist who is trying to defend Sweet Baby Inc. in a way, because the way game journalists saying, hey, we support each other, or maybe they are game journalists, they are holding high position in the company along, or maybe in Kotaku or whatever, and they are saying that, hey, we are got high position, we can say whatever we want along the line, and people should listen to us. It's really back to the point of that, should we listen to game journalists nowadays, or should we be listening to people who is not game journalists? Because often more than not, when you look at the way they are trying to defend this kind of situation, it seems like there is a little bit of propaganda. I know some people will say, hey, there's no propaganda. When they are forcing things down your throat, it can be considered a form of propaganda. And they are trying to force things to people that they do not wish to have. Again, back to the point when I've been saying that people play games as a form of escapism. They do not want real life stuff to be in the game. And what Sweet Baby Inc. and maybe some of the game other company consultant or whatever trying to add in realistic stuff to the game, but when people add in realistic stuff to the game, let's aka using a real life person body shape for the game, which I'm referring to celebrate, then it will be causing a lot of people like, do those people look that way? Because the thing is, right, what Sweet Baby Inc. and some of the how I would say it, some of the consultant people or people who is complaining along the line is that maybe they did not see the actual people in real life that have that kind of look or have that kind of body shape. Just because you look fat doesn't mean that other people have to be fat. If there is a fat character in the game, good for you. But does that mean that everyone is fat? No. There are skinny people, there are average build people, there are muscular people, there are a lot of different people of different build. Some people have big breasts, some people got small breasts, some people look tall, some people look short along the line. If you just say that a person who is 25 years old and is a female lady with big breasts but she is 145 cm, is that a lolly? Oh, if you like this character, you are pedo. Even if she is 25 years old, you are pedo. What? So it's back to the point of that what people are making noise. It's not about the gamers. It's not about the game creation. It's more about people trying to say that realistic thing that they never see in real life. Apparently, that if they feel that the character should be ugly, it should be ugly. If it's a gay, it should be a gay. It should be, if it's a black, it should be a black. It doesn't matter whether if there is real life example of it in real life, because the thing is, I have seen people who is male who is very short, girls who is very short, people who is very tall, girls also tall. I mean, like, I'm 178, and I got freaking girls that is taller than me. Does that mean that even if the girl who is like 17 years old, she should be considered an adult? No. Because she's 17, she is very tall, that is still underage. So what I don't understand about people making noise about all situation where they trying to justify their mean just because of height, just because of race, just because of diversity or whatsoever along the line. It does not make sense. And what game journalists have been feeling to see all these points is that when you look at all again, like I mentioned along the line, there are times when you look at the whole situation that it does not make sense. Why would they not understand this kind of thing? Is this because they never seen this kind in real life person? Or if they never really take a look at maybe it can be a possibility? Just because it's fantasy, it should be fantasy along the line? I mean, like, if you make a character that can make a little bit nicer, I wouldn't say that you have to show, like, it doesn't mean that the character have to look very ugly. If you make the character a little bit like like if you want men to be like in real life situation, you make them look a little bit nicer to game style, have them a little bit have a bit of expressive, people will be like, hey, maybe there's a form of beautiful, even if they may consider themselves not so nice looking or average looking along the line, people will accept it. But when you make things so damn bad just because of people saying that, hey, the character should not be look so good, or should not be look so handsome, or it should not be this slim, or it should not have this kind of chest along the line. Yeah, you are just forcing people to receive your own idea, your own political view, your own propaganda, your whatsoever view, etc. along the line. You are forcing your view against others. But when people do the same back to you and you went full denial, that is when the whole situation appeared. Again, back to the point when I say that, is Sweet Baby Inc. a good company or a bad company? I think is at this point of time, I don't think we should all say that the company is good in every way, because the CEO is really kind of very trying to threaten company to do whatever they're doing. They even trying to get game journalists to defend them along the line. does not look good. And it's even more so when I was looking at some of the article. Again, Hugh-san, if Hugh-san, Rev-san, Edmond-san, as well as Mutaha-san, sorry, able to say that they feel Sweet Baby Inc. is awful or bad along the line, and that they are also indicating that even game journalists is also bad in their own way, then the question we should have to bet, what have game journalists become? Are they now known as game journalists, or are they now known as game tabloid? Because the thing is that how I look at it is that, in my own view, I know some journalists may choose to disagree with me, but again, if I give my view on Sweet Baby Inc., if I wish not to add in all my take, I will report that yes, there is a possibility where the CEO did talk about this line where they trying to so-called threaten the company with cancel culture or LGBT culture or weak culture along the line. Then yes, Sweet Baby Inc. would be not good in my view, but I will not say that Sweet Baby Inc. is not good in my view in the story. I will let people judge, people who read the article to judge on their end. Because as a game journalist, you should be saying that yes, there is, the CEO did talk along the line, and that if did, and I will add in a story is that did game company choose to listen to the consultation firm because of the threaten, or is it false or whatever? If reported, then it's not in the game journalist rights to say, hey, you guys should listen to Sweet Baby Inc. or we should be against Sweet Baby Inc. If I want to give the whole skill out, I should always stand in the middle. It should be in the middle no matter what. The skill, you should be standing in the skill. Again, even if the skill is against Sweet Baby Inc., or maybe the skill is heavily favoring the gamers along the line, if you are a game journalist, you should be standing in the middle, unbiased, giving your view. Is just basically telling that everyone that, hey, you are adding your own idea now. You're adding your own view, your own take, your own whatever, and that does not make you a game journalist in my opinion. But then again, some journalists would argue that, hey, sometimes we have to add in our own take, add in our own opinion along the line. And the thing is, right, sometimes we have, in my video, I think most of the people will say along the line, would I ask my audience, would I accept their view? Yes. At the end of the video, I will always ask, how do you guys feel about the situation? How do you guys think about the game journalists? How do you guys think about the Sweet Baby Inc. along the line? Do they have the right view, or are they just downright bad because of the way they do? Because at the end of the day, I would say that, hey, it's not as good as you guys might think. In my view, will I say that? Yes, maybe. But then again, I will ask, how do you guys feel? Write in the comment below. That's how it should be. So the question is that as a game journalist, you should be asking the viewers, how would you feel about Sweet Baby Inc. if such a thing did happen? You shouldn't be saying that, hey, maybe it's just because that it's not as what you guys might think along the line. It's just that when you look at the whole situation, when you dig deeper, if you're not digging deeper enough, you're just taking one source and you just take it at face value, it just proves that you're jumping to conclusion. Often more than not, you have to do a lot of digging. And I mean, some people just love to say that, oh, as long as the thing sells or people start talking about it, that's good enough. But then again, that would be more towards an tabloid than a new article. Because in my view, anything that got people to talk and you are adding your own take, or you're adding stuff to make adding like fire to the field, or maybe creating a wildfire out of nowhere along the line, then that is a tabloid, because you are looking for trouble, you are adding trouble, you are creating trouble. That's how it seems. But again, some people will argue that that's how game journalists have been nowadays. I don't know. It's just that over the year, I have seen a lot of game journalists creating a lot of trouble than giving a proper news article. And I would call them journalists or tabloid or paparazzi than an actual game journalist. Because actual game journalists, correct if I'm wrong, write in the comment if you feel about it. Game journalists should be talking about games. It should be talking about the release of game, what is the new game, interview with maybe some of the developer, what is their own take along the line, and not giving their opinion. Let the viewers who read the news to determine and give their own judgment. That's how it should be. But if you feel like that it should not be what I stated, then write in the comment below what do you guys think as a game journalist should be. Because it's really bad that how game journalists trying to outright defending, and I know people say may not want to use Rev Say as a reference, but he had pointed out that how a lot of people are bashing the company along the line, where they are stating that, hey, maybe, just maybe that some of the company are creating way more trouble, or maybe trying to indicating like, hey, I identify myself as a journalist, and people just say that, hey, you're a journalist, okay, let's talk about it. Like, normally you should want to stay hidden without anyone knowing, but then again, I don't know. I mean, like, it's just outright telling that, hey, you're just trying to throw out some news, and people just say, hey, if you're trying to throw out a news, you are gonna be biased, and you're gonna be biased for us along the line. Who knows? I mean, like, it's really bad to the point of that. How I said it, some situation, like a lot of people saying like, hey, maybe IGN or Kotaku, who used to be a cool game website to check out stuff in the past, it's more towards like, yeah, when something good lasts to a period, it will become bad. And in this case, it's really bad to the point of that the bad people infiltrate the good company. Maybe Kotaku and IGN have been infiltrated by bad people along the line, and they are now working in high position along the line. I don't know. It's just a speculation. It's just a theory. It's just how I look at things. And over the year, I've really been stopped talking about using game journalists like IGN or Kotaku as my news source nowadays. Often more than not, I will look way other thing. I mean, like, if some of the game company have some of or game article game news article company have been recruiting bad journalists along the line, then I will stop using those new articles. Because the thing is, right, there is the social media. It's more easier to get sourced, it's more easier to find news along the line, and often more than not, the game company themselves tend to introduce their own article through or their new game whatever, or new information through their Twitter or through their YouTube or through their Facebook or social media, whatever you want to call it along the line. And it's way easier if you go directly to the source instead of going through the new article or the new game journalists along the line, because it just doesn't make sense, because the way they're trying to add in their own view, their own opinion, their own whatever along the line, and it's more like tabloid to me nowadays. But then again, maybe some people would say that they can be trusted. I don't know, because it's really bad. And again, I would recommend, if guys, only recommend, I never say you guys have to force and go and watch it, alright? If you want to watch it, you watch it. You don't want to watch it, don't watch it. So I would recommend Resan and Hillsan video, where they talk more on how the game journalists got backfired when they trying to defend Sweet Baby Inc. Or maybe along the line, or Sweet Baby Inc. got even more bash on along the line. I would recommend you guys to check that out if you got the time. If you choose not to, it's alright. I'm just giving my own take. It may be different from them, it may be whatsoever from them, but that's how my take. And personally, my advice, if any Sweet Baby Inc. watch up to this point, if they choose not to, you guys can just clip it and let them understand. My 3 point of advice to any Sweet Baby Inc. employees is that, number 1, do not silence critic. Often more than not, critics are your best friend in a way, because they are the one who is giving you to understand more onto what you should be doing and what you should not be doing. You can take it that it can be a view that you disagree with, and even if you disagree, you should understand that there is a voice there. If you are a company who is more so trying to add in your voice of race LGBTQ or majority of the stuff into games, then more so you have to listen to that small critic. Because sometimes understanding a little bit of critic can go a long way. It can help to improve yourself and do self-improvement along the line, which came to the second point, better yourself. Improve on yourself, understanding that you may need sometimes many different views. As a writer myself who write Japanese as well as English novel in the past, often more than not, I listen to people critique. Even when I put on my video, I let people, some of my friends, I listen from them. They will ask me a few points. They can give me a few questions, and I will answer them. If I fail to answer them, it means that there is something I need to improve on. But if I can improve on that and I give them the actual answer and they feel convinced, then they can give me their critique, whether do they agree with me or do they disagree with me. More than not, most of them will agree on me on the situation, but if they do disagree, they will also point out a few things that I may be overlooking or maybe I am lacking in, and I will improve on that point, which is again back to the point of doing self-improvement. And often more than not, when again point 1 and point 2, don't silence the critique and doing self-improvement, it go hand in hand in my opinion. It go a long way. So it is a thing that the Sweet Baby Ink should really think about, because sometimes when you improve yourself or when you look at most of the situation, you may open out your own view, you may open up to new culture, you may be open up to new idea that you may not have the idea to come out with if you choose to not listen. Although more than not, when it comes to a meeting, right, in a meeting, why there are times when some people would go along the line of debate or argument or disagreement along the line, it's often more than not you are trying to have a discussion to understand more from all sides of the coin, and during that debate or discussion, you may come up with new idea that either one of you would not have done so. Neither of you. And it's because of the correct opinion, that is where magic comes from. Again, back to the point that sometimes listening to critics, I know not all of them should be listened, but sometimes some critics could be listened to understand more. And the last thing, my advice to Sweet Baby Ink, if they really do listen, is that they have to apologize for the action they done. It's not just because of the way they have been acting, it's not about the way they have been trying to silencing the critic, it's not about the way they have been acting like racist without trying to be. It's more so that they have to apologize as a whole. The way they trying to come up with silencing along the line, the way they are trying to add in stuff that is not supposed to be there in the first place, and forcing people a freaking turkey down people's throat, or maybe a burger down people's throat, or maybe a freaking chicken leg down people's throat. Yeah. Imagine if people do the same thing back to you, would you accept it? If you do, good for you. But if you're not, then it's back to the point of that it go both ways. So at the end of the day, I mean, like, as much as I love to give not any advice, but at the end of the day, I'm just a old man, I'm just a casual VTuber, I'm just giving my own take. If people take it, good for them. If they choose not to take it, that's on them. Often more than not, my advice always go a long way, and it can always lead to good result. And again, whether do they listen or not is up to them. It's their own take, it's their own decision. I cannot give any more take any after than this. Overall, I wouldn't think I know like Rev always have the freaking funny curve is that hopefully it'll be the last video, hopefully it'll be the last video. It does go the same way for me, and for me, I've been talking about Sweet Baby Ink for quite a few videos already. Am I happy about it? No, I'm not, because often more than not, there are way more take to give in, and often more than not, I would try to give a proper take in each video itself, but often more than not, when there are more take to add in or more idea to give in, then I have to do so, because sometimes some people may not be accepting of it. And I know some people will be saying like, hey, maybe Sweet Baby Ink didn't add big propaganda along the line. When you look at a bigger picture, the way they add the way they create stuff, or the way the CEO trying to say that, hey, bitch should not be white person, or hey, you should not add in this character in the first place, or maybe hey, this person doesn't sit well with me because she is white or he is white. It should be all black. Then it's not about adding race or changing the race. It's just basically because you, as a writer, want to add in your idea to the story. That is when things go south, and you brag about it. People will take it as propaganda. And even if you're trying to defend that, no, you did not add propaganda. When you look at the bigger picture, if you're adding your stuff to it by forcing your take into it, that is maybe a form of propaganda. Whether you like it or not, whether you defend it or not, in other people's view, it can be considered a propaganda. But then again, it's up to other people's view, and whether you like it or not, you have to accept it. Because how are you going to convince those other people that it's not propaganda if you can't give out a valid reason just because of, hey, it's not a propaganda? If you can't give a, that is just basically telling people that you are giving a weird reasoning of when food denial, and you are not giving a proper argument or discussion to debate on. You're just trying to say, no. It's just basically telling everyone that, do you have a girlfriend? No. Are you looking for a girlfriend? No. Do you hate to have a girlfriend? No. What? So is that a reason why you don't want to have a girlfriend? No. You understand what I'm saying? Still don't understand? Well, I don't anyway. With that being said, write down in the comment below what you guys feel about the whole situation. Did the game journalist step over the line, or did game journalist trying to defend the Sweet Baby Ink along the line? Who knows? I mean, like, just write in the comment below what you guys feel about the whole situation. Press the like button and subscribe for more random chat where I talk about stuff where I talk about stuff that never follow a single trend. But lately I've been talking about Sweet Baby Ink, apparently. But anyway, if you don't like it, don't do anything. Just go to the history, right click that you have watched me, and you don't see me another time again, hopefully. Or maybe if you don't like me, don't watch me anyway. But then again, if you watch it, thank you. But anyway, with that being said, hope you guys have a nice day or night.